Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another review here from Making Fun. First album review here on Making Fun. I guess we call it Making Music. This is a wonderful opportunity for me because I get to review an album that's very, very close to me starting off. And it's an album from a guy whom I really admire. Back in 2011, when I was going through probably one of the worst times of my life after my grandpa had passed away, who I was very close to my grandpa, it was kind of hard to find passion in things, but one place I always found passion was in music, and my favorite quartet at the time was called Ernie Haas and Signature Sound. If you haven't heard of them, you need to hear of them. They bring an energy to the stage that is always enough to bring a smile to your face when you're down. And they had a new bass singer. His name was Ian Owens, and on March 25th, 2011, I went to go see them in Bedford just to see, because I wanted to see them live, obviously, but I had to see how good this new guy was, and this is Ernie Haas and Signature Sound, and right here is Ian Owens, their new bass singer at the time, and I got to talk to all of them a little bit that night. But my relationship with Ian didn't really become a thing until a couple years ago when I was starting my senior project, and I decided to bring in the group he was with now, Sold Out Quartet. Of course, I've known Brian Hudson my entire life, as well as his brother Jim, and I was really excited to bring in Sold Out. That night, I learned some things about Sold Out. Sold Out are the nicest, most sincere people I've ever met in my life, and Sold Out is doing this for the right reasons, and I love those guys, and especially Ian. Of course, I love Matt, I love Dusty, I love Brian, and I've only gotten the chance to meet their new piano player, John, once, but I really like him as well. But Ian and I connect on a nerd level. Like, we talk about comic books and superheroes and all kinds of stuff, and we have the same kind of sense of humor. And so, not long ago, Ian released a solo album called Aint Misbehavin, and he gave me the opportunity to review it, and thank you for letting me review it, obviously. And I'm going to run through it track by track, and I'll tell you, this is a fantastic album, and I definitely recommend that you get it. We'll start off kind of with the title track, Aint Misbehavin', which all of these are old standards. There's no new song on this album, and I think that could deter a lot of people from buying it, but please don't let it, because Ian did not record any song in the standard way. These may be standards, but Ian put his own spin on every song that he did, starting off with the title track, which was originally released in 1929 by Fats Waller, called Aint Misbehavin', and it's a fun little love song. It's really catchy. It's Ain't Misbehavin', Saving My Love for You, and it's got that 1930s, 1920s blues style that we know, and Hank Williams recorded it later, so you can kind of tell what vein it's in. Ian has a lot of fun with this track, and in my mind, I can just see him singing it to his wife with the stupid look on his face, and I love it, which, first knock on the album is, I'm looking here at the album art. He took the picture for the album art before he grew his magnificent beard, and I've really got to say that's already pushing it down to like an 8 out of 10 at the very least. But we can't all be perfect like Ian Owens' beard, and few of us can be perfect like Brian Hudson. So, Ian is getting to the point where he might just start to compete with Brian Hudson's level of perfection, but it's going to be a long time before any of us get there, frankly. Second track is Run On, which this is obviously an old spiritual. You may know Johnny Cash's version of it. Run On is it. What I like about Run On is Ian starts it off with a good old-fashioned hum, which you don't hear very much. And for those of you who know what a good old-fashioned hum is, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. For those of you that don't know what a good old-fashioned hum is, it's where everybody hums at once in key. And it's a really nice way to start off a spiritual track like this. And then he jumps into it, and there's an energy to it. There's an energy to this entire album that I really, really love. And he has a fantastic group of backup singers behind him, including his dad, Butch, who is the bass singer for Blackwood Brothers Quartet. And it's really awesome that he got the chance to record with his dad. I know that's something that he wanted, and they recently got the chance to perform on stage together too, which was really awesome. The third track is a track that helps us deal with patience as Christians. It's called Teach Me, Lord, to Wait. And this brings up kind of my only knock on the album, where, like, Teach Me, Lord, to Wait is a really good song, and I think Ian did a fantastic job with it. The only little knock that I have is that you kind of can't tell when it's going from the verse to the chorus because it stays in, like, on the same chord. And if people don't know the song, that can be confusing. Of course, there are not too many people who don't know the song at this point. But, like, you had fantastic backup singers. They could have started it off kind of like in the Gold City version of the song. Or Ian, come on, you've got a beautiful upper register. I mean, don't get me wrong. I have heard you shake auditoriums with your voice, you big, beautiful, bearded man. But, I mean, you've got that upper range. I think you could have maybe started the chorus like in the upper octave and then switch back down when you needed to. Either way, though, I mean, it's a very, very small knock against it. But Teach Me, Lord, to Wait is one of those songs that sort of reminds us that it's not always what we want, and it's not always in our time. And then the fourth track is, as you go through this album, there is a lot of Ian's musical history, and of course he's with the Cumberland Quartet, and then he was with the Imperials, then Ernie Haas and Signature Sound, and now he's with Sold Out. And the fourth track is This Old House, which, of course, right when Ian joined Signature Sound, they were on their Cathedrals Influence tour, which was, they had just released a tribute to the Cathedrals album, and so Ian broke into Ernie Haas and Signature Sound by covering George Yonts every night, all night, which had to be petrifying. But This Old House is a song that we have all heard over and over and over again, and like if you've heard one version of it, you've heard them all, except for this one, because Ian puts it in such a different place. It doesn't sound like your classic Cathedrals version. It doesn't sound like the version that Ernie Haas recorded. Honestly, it kind of sounds like a mid-50s Buddy Holly song, and it really, really serves him very well. And I think every bass singer has done this song, but the way Ian does it is different from anybody else, and so I definitely recommend that. Speaking of songs that every bass singer has done, next track, Long Black Train, which, when Ian was recording a solo album, he posted on his Facebook page, hey, give me songs to do, and everybody's like, Long Black Train, Long Black Train, Long Black Train. And he does, I'll tell you, I won't spend too long on this one. It's pretty by the book, the way that he does it, but it's very, very good. And I know Ian is a fan of Josh Turner, and so this is a little nod to that as well. As a matter of fact, the Josh Turner track, Your Man, a lot of times when Sold Out goes to, say, Applebee's after a concert and they're having karaoke night, Ian always does Your Man. He's got that lock the door, right, where like it goes super low, and he always like gets the entire Applebee's on their feet, which it's hard to get a standing ovation in Applebee's, but if anybody can do it, it's Ian Owens. Or maybe Brian Hudson. But either way, this was fantastic, but I do want to move on to the next track, because this next track is a very special one. It's one that I hadn't actually heard before this particular album. It was recorded by the Imperials back in the 80s, which of course Ian was with the Imperials, not in the 80s, but later on. I mean, he's got a beard, but he's not that old, shoot. But it's called My Mind Forgets a Million Things, and I'm not going to take time to belabor the story of My Mind Forgets a Million Things as far as Ian is concerned. I'll tell you, John Layton, the piano player for Sold Out, recently did an interview with Ian, which it's 24 minutes long, and it's worth every minute of it. It's maybe the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I've seen a lot of funny things, and Ian goes in depth, and he talks about why this song is so special to him. I'll tell you, he really massages that upper register of his, and he sings it beautifully, and you can tell that the song means the world to him. Again, though, go watch that interview with John Layton, because it's very, very special. From one Imperial song to another Imperial song, the next one is A Thing Called Love, which it's a song that I never liked at first, but it's one of those things where I didn't like the song, and then I couldn't get it out of my head, and so I had to listen to it a bunch more times, and now I really like the song, which we've heard this song recorded a lot, and Ian records it in the same style that the Imperials recorded it. Again, he has his dad singing bass backup for him, which is awesome, and he does a very good job with this song. And then he moves on to That's Why I Love to Call His Name, which That's Why I Love to Call His Name is an old quartet standard. Of course, it's bass-led like everything else on this album, and it's always done in a more quartet style, which, that being said, That's Why I Love to Call His Name, Ian takes in a completely different direction. And again, that's what I love about this album. You listen to these songs and you know these songs, but it's almost like you're listening to them for the first time, because Ian does something special with all of them. And That's Why I Love to Call His Name, he takes more into the Black Gospel Church and does it in that style, that spiritual style, and I really, really like his version of it. I'll say it's one of my favorite versions of the song ever recorded. One song that he recorded, though, that is absolutely my favorite. Okay, first of all, I love gospel music, but I'm sorry, this is my favorite track on the album, Ghost Riders in the Sky. Okay, any song that has barnyard animals in it, I really like, and this is an awesome track. I really can't, I honestly, like, buy this album, listen to this track for some of the most fun you've ever had. Like, honestly, when I'm drumming, like when I'm just practicing, I play this song a lot, and I play this arrangement because it's just so much fun, and he has, the word of the day is fun, and which is ironic because this channel is making fun. Subscribe. But yeah, this track it really is something that is unlike anything else on this album, and it's unlike anything else I've ever heard. Next, though, is one where he goes by the book, and I really like the way he did it. The classic, What a Wonderful World. And What a Wonderful World is, of course, we all know the song. And if I remember correctly, there aren't any drums on this track, which is a shame, I would say, as a drummer. But I think it was a good choice for this song. And it's really just Ian singing beautifully. And if you've heard him on songs like I Believe and Arise My Love, then you know how good of a singer he really is. And this track exemplifies that. So that's the end of the album. We've gone through it track by track, and I'll tell you, I listen to this album constantly, and it's not often, people get such fatigue with hymns projects and favorites projects and things like that because of just, we've heard all of these songs, but I never get tired of listening to these because Ian does it in such a different way than anybody else, and it's got his vocal on it, and I truly believe Ian's one of the best bass singers that is in gospel music today, and I would say one of the best bass singers I've ever heard, and I'm not saying that because he's my friend. I was his fan long before I was his friend. I'm just lucky enough to be able to know my heroes now, and this is a great album. I definitely recommend picking it up. Ian, if you're ever going on tour and you need a drummer, hit me up. I'm right here. Matter of fact, sold out. If you ever decide to put together a live band and you need a drummer, hit me up. I'm right here. I'm just right now. What I do with my life is sitting here in my bedroom, filming internet videos. Just saying, I could walk on the bus at any time. So just keep that in mind. Either way, though, Ian Owens, the album Aint Misbehavin. I cannot recommend this album to you guys enough, and I thank Ian for giving me the chance to review it. This has been long, this has been rambling, which is fine, because that's just like the conversations that I have with Ian Owens. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like what you've seen here, like the video, comment on it. Let me know what you think of the album. Let me know if you get the album because of my review. That way I can rub it in Ian's face. And, of course, subscribe to this channel. You don't know how much that helps us out. Watch all of the other content here. We like to have a lot of fun. And I guess until next time, my name is Casey Johnson, and buy this album.